Okay, it's time for Jerry and the Goddesses Part 31. Trigger warnings in this one. We're coming in at the very end of a sexual encounter, so there's going to be some graphic language there right off the bat. So, okay, here we go. Inanna moaned through clenched lips as I reached a climax. When the moment passed, I held her in place for a bit, propped up and pressed against the wall of a half destroyed cafe, her legs wrapped around my hips. It took me a few seconds to catch my breath, after which I carefully let her down and pulled my pants up. You're getting stronger, she said, simply materializing her pants back on the same way she'd removed them. Is that you? I'd asked. I'd noticed it too. My arms and chest were thicker, and a pair of veins had appeared on my forearms. I still felt skinny and doughy, but slightly less so than I was used to. I assumed it was something Inanna was doing because I haven't been to the gym since I was 15, the result of my father's last attempt to man me up. That trip had ended when I struggled to bench press 40 pounds and got 2 out before he had to help me. It's not that my dad was an overbearing ass about it, but I knew he'd been a little disappointed that his son turned out to be a skinny, bookish nerd. Maybe my little brother Peter would grow up to be an athlete. Not intentionally, no. But having a long-term sexual relationship with the goddess of war is bound to have an effect on a man. She grinned at me as she said it, stepping forward to cut my junk in one hand, already ready to go again. That's pretty cool, but I think we should get back to the others. We need to get back to the search. It was the day after the excitement with the artillery and tanks and sniping war criminals, and we still hadn't found that damn museum. We had searched about half of Stepanakert, and I really hoped we'd find it today. Military jets had been flying overhead almost non-stop since late yesterday, and they had started occasionally dropping bombs this morning. Inanna shrugged and led the way, walking gingerly, almost limping. Are you okay? I asked. You're walking like you're hurt. She waved a dismissive hand without turning. Jerry, I just had a great big cock buried balls deep in my asshole while being slammed against a bombed out wall using only my pussy juice as lube. And I am currently trying not to drip what feels like half a gallon of cum down my legs. I blushed furiously at her response, but I shook my head and pushed forward. Inanna, you're a goddess. How is any of that a problem? She stopped and turned to look at me, her face a mask of confusion. She opened her mouth to answer and then closed it. She frowned slightly and finally spoke. Huh. You're right. I'm fine now. That was weird. I've never forgotten to sort things out like that before. Is something wrong? I was genuinely concerned now. Not that I'm aware of. Quick, choke me. What? You heard me. Come on, choke me. You can fuck me again if it helps. Her pants vanished yet again as she tilted her head up to expose her throat. I said. I was confused, but I put my hands on her neck and squeezed gently. No, love, put some force into it. I'm a goddess, remember? I'll be fine. I squeezed harder and she gave me a long-suffering look. Jerry, she said, her voice slightly hoarse from my hands around her neck. Remember the donkey punch? Fucking choke me. I nodded, braced myself, and bore down hard. The feeling of her throat compressing in my hands, along with the way the flesh tried to bulge between my fingers, was strange and highly uncomfortable. And Anna didn't feel the same way, obviously. She was gyrating her hips a little, smiling at me with that oh-so-familiar gleam in her eyes as her face turned purple. After a moment, she suddenly slapped a hand down between her legs and began to shudder. Without warning, she stopped, her arms going limp, and I felt all of her weight on my hands as she sagged. I quickly released her throat and caught her before she hit the ground. Inanna? I asked, cradling her in my arms. Inanna? Baby? I gave her a little shake. I was starting to panic now. Her head lolled about freely. Inanna! I said loudly, right in her face, shaking her harder. That did it. She snapped her eyes open and focused them blearily on me. Without a word, she smashed her face into mine, lips opening to dart her tongue into my mouth. Not expecting a kiss, I jerked my head back instinctively. She lifted her arms, still shaking and uncoordinated, and wrapped them around my neck, pulling my head back down for a slightly more coherent kiss. I just came so fucking hard, Jerry, she muttered into my mouth. I pulled back again, more slowly this time. What? I said. I just nutted hard, love. Real fucking hard. She darted a hand down between my legs to fondle me again, and my pants vanished. So clearly she was in command of herself again. Fuck me again, Jerry, right now. She didn't wait for me to act, but squirmed onto my lap, catching my hard-on perfectly and sliding down onto it. I don't understand what's... She put a finger to my lips as she began grinding against me. I'll explain later. For now, just fucking. When we finished, my knees were killing me from kneeling with Inanna on my lap the whole time. I gingerly stretched my legs out, immensely grateful when our pants reappeared on us a moment later. The ground was very sandy and full of small pebbles, and the pants made climbing to my feet much, much more comfortable. I'm not sure exactly what's happening, but my manifestation is becoming more human. How do you mean? I asked. I mean, it's drawing less energy from my portfolio and more from the air, the food I'm eating, the sunlight. It's becoming more of a normal human body, less a physical extension of me. That sounds concerning, I said. Thoughts of evil twins sprang to mind unbidden. Well, I mean, the body's still mine, and I'm not missing any power or ability. It's just, if I'm not paying attention, my body is reacting the same as a normal human body would. You mean it wasn't doing that before? No. Normally my manifestations are physically human, but there's no mind in the brain, just me controlling them like a puppet. I send them commands to move or speak, and they send back sensory information. But part of that sort of control means I'm suffusing the entire body with my powers, so it doesn't need to eat or sleep, or can't get injured or get sick, stuff like that. I don't feel any different now, but unless I'm consciously keeping my body from reacting to things, it's reacting the same way a human body would. It's strange, really. I think I need to discuss this with Sarissa. I nodded. That seemed like a good idea to me. Yeah, like now. The last thing I want is for some bullet to suddenly have the same effect on you that it would on me. And Anna smiled. Oh, that's so adorable. You're concerned for my safety, Jerry. I don't think anyone has ever been concerned for my safety before. She kissed me again, wrapping her arms around my waist and squeezing. As we kissed, her hand moved down to my behind, and she grabbed 2 handfuls of it, which was pretty much all of it, even though her hands weren't very big. Her hips started gyrating again. Lissai. It's to be expected, really. If Inanna found something about me endearing, impressive, sweet, or even just interesting in any way, it meant she also found it, to use her own words, hot. So it came as no surprise when our pants vanished again. It was a little surprising that I was able to react appropriately, or inappropriately, as the case may be, but after less than a minute of a refractory period. But as Inanna had pointed out, having a long-term sexual relationship with her was bound to produce changes in me. What came as a complete and total surprise was when Sarissa flew around the corner a second later, shrieking at the top of her lungs, "Holy shit, Inanna, you're fucking pregnant!" The end.